Welcome everyone to class 5. This class we're going through thoracic rotation, dissociation of movement. And this means we want to be using our mid-back to rotate the spine rather than using our shoulder blades or popping out through the front of our shoulder. So all of these movements will be controlled and core based. So all you need for the class is a pillow, a mat, a band and a wall close by. Go get your things and I'll see you now. Starting with the pre-assessment, I want you to come onto your knees and then bring your left leg forward. Make sure you have a good base of support, so the left foot is a little bit wider than the right knee. And then in this position, you're going to take both hands forward. Keep your hips directly over the knee and then try and take your left hand all the way behind you, keeping your core engaged, and then come back. Do that 3 more times, squeezing your shoulder blade as you go back. Keep your hips facing forward and come back. 2 more. Squeeze shoulder blade and come back. Last one. Reaching back with the hand, keeping the shoulder blade squeezed, keeping your core active, and then come back. And switch sides. Taking the right foot forward and having your hips directly over your left knee. Keep the core engaged, hands in front, and now you're going to take the right hand behind you. And notice your side to side differences. 3 more times, squeeze the shoulder blade, keep your core active. 2 more. Make sure your whole shoulder is pulling back. Last one, squeeze shoulder blade, reach the hand back, but I don't want you to open up the hips or the knees. And then come back. So with that movement, we're using our mid-back to rotate. The spine is rotating. And now we're going to start with our core and go into the dissociation of movement. So lie on your back and you can have the pillow underneath your head. Activate through the rib cage, pulling the belly button to spine, lower back to the ground. And then take the arms out into a T position. Take the left leg long and then try and bring the right leg up into your dead bug position. Holding it here, but keeping your lower back pushing down into the ground, then push your right knee up, keeping your left foot facing up towards the sky. And you're going to try and rotate across the body as far as you can from your core. And then bring it back nice and slowly. 1. Same leg. Taking it over, keeping your core active, trying to scoop through the belly to get a hollow movement as you move the knee over the left leg. 3. 2 more. 4. Last one. And 5. Bring it back to center. Slowly take that right leg down and then bring the left leg up into your dead bug position. Keep your ribs active, pulling your belly button into the spine and your whole lower back is down on the ground. And then in this position, you're going to push the knee up into the sky and then go over your right leg, keeping your right foot facing up towards the ceiling. And then bring it back. Just going as far as you can and deeper each time. Keep scooping through the belly, so making sure your core is nicely engaged. And back. 3 more. Core engaged, ribs down towards the hips. Don't flare the ribs and reach the chest up. You want to keep the chest down, ribs down as you move through the lower body here. Last one, keeping that right foot facing up towards the ceiling. Take it all the way over. And then bring it back. Place the foot down, and now you're going to come into your dead bug position. So bringing the right leg up, 90-degree angle at the knee, and then left leg up. Keep the knees glued together. The hands are still out into a T position. Push your lower back down into the ground, and then you're just going to move onto your left hip. Keeping your knees glued together so that your right hip isn't dropping down, it's pushing up and keeping your core in that stable position. Hold it here for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, ribs down towards the hips, 2, and 1. Bring it back to center, same side, going to the left, and back. 10 times. 2, and back, keeping the knees glued. 3, back. 4, 5. Keep a 90-degree angle at the knees, lower back pulling down into the ground. 4 more. 3. Belly button to spine. 2, ribs down towards the hips. Last 1. Hold it there. Keep the knees glued together. Hold it for another 5, 4, 3, belly button to spine, 2, and 1. Come back to center, either hug the knees in if you need to, or you can go straight into the other side. So taking your right, going over onto the right and on your right hip. Pushing your left hip off of the floor, and the left knee is glued to the right knee. Keeping them both at a 90-degree angle and holding it here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull the ribs down to bring it back, and go again 10 times. Keeping your core active and stable as you move the legs, keeping the knees glued together. It's a difficult movement to achieve, so even if you're moving just a little bit, that's okay. 5 more, keeping your core active and stable. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to center, hug it in nice and deep, and then place the feet down onto the ground. Starting with the left side this time, taking the right foot out, lifting that left leg into a dead bug position, and then trying to move all the way across even deeper now. Keeping your left shoulder blade squeezed to the ground, ribs pushing down towards your hips. They're not flaring open. And then bring it back. 4 more. Activate through the core as you do this. All the movement should be coming from the core. Right foot up into the sky. 2 more. Last one. Bring it back. Place the left leg down, and then bring your right leg into dead bug. Left leg goes down straight, keeping a 90-degree angle at the knee, and you're moving over using your core, keeping belly button pulled to spine and back. Going further and deeper each time, keeping your shoulder blades squeezed together. 2 more, keeping the left foot facing up towards the ceiling. Last one. And then bring it back, hug the knees in. And then again, taking the arms out into a T position. Take the legs up into your dead bug And then try and cross the legs here, binding at your ankle. If you can't bind, even just having the legs crossed is okay. And now you're going to drop the right leg or knee down towards the floor, keeping your right shoulder blade glued. So you're only going as far as you can where your right shoulder blade is on the ground. And then bring it back. 1. Going for 10. All the way across. Bring it back from your core. 2. 3. 4. Activate the movement from your core. 5. 6. 4 more. 'Keep your knees glued together. 2 more. And last one. Bring it all the way up, and then take it all the way to the ground, even if your shoulder blade comes off, and see if you can try and get your right hand to touch the floor behind you. 1, 2, 3. Try get the shoulder blade squeezing to the spine. Try get the shoulder blade to touch the ground as well as the hand. 3 more. 2 and 1. Bring the legs back up. Hug the knees in. Come back into your dead bug position, arms out into a T. Cross the legs. If you can bind, that's great. If not, it's also fine. And now you're going as far as you can, keeping your left shoulder blade on the ground. Bring it back. 1. Going for 10. Keep the knees glued together and pull back with your core. Exhale as you bring the legs back. Inhale as you go over. Scooping through the belly to try and keep that core active. 5 more. 4. 3. 2 and 1. Bring it back to center first, and then all the way to the ground. You can lift your left shoulder blade and then keep your left knee on the ground and try and squeeze shoulder blade to touch the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Bring the legs back to center, hug them in, nice and tight. And now we'll start with the class to try and get the dissociation of movement. So our core is active, our rotational core is definitely active. Now we can move on to a little bit more mobility. So, taking the pillow away, coming onto your hands and knees, keeping your core engaged, and then take your left elbow to the floor, keeping the hand placed on the ground with equal space between the fingers. Then take the right hand behind the head, elbows to touch, and then pull belly button to spine, even round into the back a little bit, and then lift, just keeping that core active. So you don't want to be reaching up to the sky and arching into the back just to get more mobility. You want to get mobility by keeping your core active. And down. 1, core active. 2, squeeze shoulder blade to spine. 3, 4, 5, 5 more. Belly button to spine, rounding a little bit into your lower back so that you aren't overextending and trying to get range of motion from there. 2 more. Last one. We're going to hold it up. Keep equal weight bearing through both knees. Keep the hips directly over both knees. Keep trying to get the elbow up into the sky, but keep your core engaged and squeeze shoulder blade into the spine. And then take the elbow down, and you're going to switch arms. So right elbow comes into the center. Make sure your hips aren't shifted to one side. They're directly over your knees. And then your hand is placed firmly on the ground with equal space between each finger. Then take the elbow to touch the opposite elbow, and then reach up, keeping your core engaged and not tilting through your lower back. So we're getting mid-back rotation here. 2, we're going for 10. Keep squeezing shoulder blade to the spine as you reach up. So you're getting the movement from your shoulder rather than opening up through your mid-back. And that's how we dissociate the movement. We're differentiating from shoulder movement to mid-back movement. 5 more. Core engaged. Two more. Last one, holding it up. Keep the hips directly over the knees. The core is engaged and you're squeezing from your shoulder blade. Squeeze as much as you can. And then take the elbow down and come up onto your hands and knees. Now you're taking your left hand into the center of your chest. Right hand again behind the ear, elbows to touch, and you're going to reach up. But this time we're not moving our hips to the side, so you're not shifting the hips. The hips are staying directly over the knees, and you can only do a small movement here from your mid-back. 2, 3, 4, 5, core engaged. 6, squeeze shoulder blades. 7, try squeeze the shoulder blade down and not too much up into your upper traps. 2 more. Last one, hold. Hold it for 10. Keep your core active, hips directly over the knees, lifting the elbow to the sky, squeezing shoulder blade to spine. It doesn't matter how high you go, it's more about the activation and what muscles you are using. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take the right hand down into the center. Left hand goes on the elbows touch. And ready, you're going to lift, keeping the hips directly over the knees, squeezing shoulder blades to spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, core engaged, 9, and 10. Hold it up. Keep squeezing through the core. Keep lifting the elbow but squeezing the shoulder blades together. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Place the left hand down again into the center, and then you're going to slip the right hand all the way through, reaching as far as you can, and then dropping the shoulder down to the ground, and then trying to twist the body open towards the ceiling. Keep breathing here and keep weight bearing through the center. It's a little bit more difficult to keep that weight bearing through the center. So you need to push a little bit more through both knees to get the hips directly over the knees. And then you come back Taking the right hand into the center and then reaching the left hand all the way through, then dropping the shoulder down and twisting through, using your right hand to twist the body up towards the ceiling. Keeping your core engaged and equal weight bearing through both hips. So you might need to push a little bit more weight through the left hip to keep it more central, or the left knee. Hold it here, keep your core active, belly button to spine, always when we're twisting, to keep your core engaged and make sure you're using the right movement. And then slowly come back to center. And we're going to combine those two movements, so it might be quite difficult to control, but I want you to go at your own pace and through the mobility that you can do. So what you're going to do is keep your hips directly still, keep your core active. Try and reach the hand as far as you can. Even if you can, drop the shoulder down, but keeping the hips directly over the knees. And then you're going to reach, hand behind the ear, and twist up towards the sky. That's 1, we're doing 5. And reach, keeping your core active, then slowly pushing the shoulder down, and bring it back. 2. Control the movement through the core, shoulder down, and 3. Hips active. 4. Last one. Reach, try get the shoulder down, and then 5. Place the right hand down, and then take the left hand and try and thread it all the way through, bringing the elbow to the ground but not shifting through the hips here. And reach the hand behind the head and twist open, keeping the hips still. 1. Drop the knee, the shoulder to the floor, and reach up. 2. 3. 4. Last one. Reach. And 5. Hold it here. And then take both hands down onto the ground. Now you can take the pillow underneath your knees if your knees are sensitive. And you're going to bring your left leg forward. In this position, you're going to drop your hips as low as possible. So we're not keeping our hips directly on top of our knees this time. We're dropping really low. And you're taking your right elbow to your left knee. And then twisting open at a diagonal up towards the ceiling. So the movement is coming from your shoulder blade instead of your mid-back, keeping your chest facing forwards, but opening up through your shoulder blade. 3, 4, 5, 5 more, dropping the hips low. 3 more. 2 and 1. Drop that right hand to the ground, reach the left hand up towards the sky, and then try and take that left elbow to touch the floor, and then reach it back up, squeezing shoulder blades together, down to touch, and lift, down to touch, keeping core active. Lift, opening up through the chest this time. 2 more. Lift. And last one. Lift, open, hold here. Squeeze shoulder blades to spine. And then take the hand down to the knee and take the right leg forward. So left knee on your pillow. Right leg forward. And we're dropping down into the hips here. Getting a nice deep stretch through the hips as well as going through your shoulder blades. So left elbow to touch and reach it up, keeping the chest facing forwards. 2, 3, at a diagonal. 4, chest facing forwards. 5, squeeze from your shoulder blade, keep your core active. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Place the left hand down to the ground, and you're going to try and take the right hand up towards the sky. Elbow down to touch, and then reach it up. 1, down to touch, and reach. 2, down to touch, reach. 3, down to touch, reach. 4, last one, down to touch, and reach. 5, hold it here, drop the hips low, keep the right knee active, pulling in, and then you can come into your all fours and then move to the wall. So now I want you to bring your whole mat to the wall, right leg forward and left leg back so that you're in a lunge position. Have the left knee directly underneath the left hip. So it's quite a hard position to hold. Hands in front of you. You're going to keep your left hand pushing into the wall and try and get the right hand back behind you. 1, keep your core active. 2, use your shoulder blade to squeeze. 3, don't move that left hip. 4, all the movements coming from the shoulder blade and the mid back. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Squeeze shoulder blades together, and then come back up and switch sides. So you're taking your left leg forward this time. Right knee directly underneath your right hip. Hands in front, and you're going to twist open, trying to get that shoulder blade to touch rather than your hand only. 2, don't rotate the right hip, keep that left hip strong. 3, 4, 5. Take your time and do it at your own pace and make sure you're doing the right movement. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Squeeze shoulder blades as much as you can. Keep the core active. Keep your left foot active. Right knee underneath the hip. And then come back. And we're going to do our post-assessment. So bring your mat back onto the floor, wherever you were. And you can have the pillow underneath your knee. Taking the left leg forward, right knee is directly underneath the right hip. And then both hands in front of you. Taking the left hand back behind you to try and see if there was any difference from the beginning to the end of the class. Do it 3 more times. Squeeze shoulder blade, keep core active. 2 more. Last one. And switch sides. Left knee on the cushion, right leg forward, knee directly underneath the hip, so you're not dropping forward this time. Hands in front, and you're taking the right hand back, squeezing shoulder blades together. 3 more times. 2 more. And last one. Come back to center. So I hope you enjoyed the class. We're going to do a little bit of a cool down now, just to open up through the spine a little bit more. So, lie on your back, have the pillow underneath your head, and this time I want you to bring your right knee up into your chest, really nice and high. You can keep your right elbow on the floor in a nice 90-degree angle at your elbow. And you're going to pull your knee all the way up as high as you can to your shoulder. And then you're going to drop it down to be in line with your hip. So you're just moving your knee up and down to get through all the twisting of the spine. Just moving it up and down, knowing what you need and where you feel the stretch most. And then come back up and switch sides. So taking the left leg over and the left arm in a 90-degree position, bringing the knee up into the chest or up towards the shoulder, and then dropping it down to be in line with your hip. Just massaging through the spine and finding where you need your stretch today. And then come back to center. Hug the knees in. And come into a seated position. Well done for doing the class today with me, and I hope you are focusing on each little bit so that you can better yourself in the future. Remember to go back and do these classes again. This course is very specific. So you need to feel, get your mind to muscle or brain to muscle connection, and then you will start understanding your body. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next one.